So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us. Thank you for taking time out of your day for the Salesforce Admins webinar, Build Your Lightning Experience Rollout Plan. This is going to be an amazing webinar. I'm super excited for this. So as we get started, it's also the Mike Squared webinar. So I am joined by Michael Orr, who is Senior Director Lightning Adoption at Salesforce. He has one of the cooler Twitter handles, which is @ordeal. You can follow him on Twitter for lots of lightning cool things. Of course, my name is Mike Gerholt, Director of Admin Evangelism at Salesforce. You can follow me on Twitter @Mike Gerholt.
Hi, everybody.
Example of what Michael Orr tweets. Of course, it wouldn't be a Salesforce Admins webinar or just a Salesforce presentation without a forward-looking statement. So Salesforce is a publicly traded company. Please make all of your purchasing decisions based on current features and functionality and not on any of the cool features we may show in this webinar. This could happen with Michael Orr. He likes to talk about new stuff. He knows things. So while you're talking with Michael Orr on Twitter, you can also follow Salesforce Admins, which is Salesforce Admins. There's an extra A in that, but trust me, it's Salesforce, ADMNS, no I in Admins. If you're on Facebook, you can go find us at Salesforce Admins. And on YouTube, which is where a recording of this webinar will appear, we are Salesforce Admins and Salesforce Admins on LinkedIn. Which reminds me, if you want to connect with other awesome admins on Twitter, use the hashtag #AwesomeAdmin and follow some of the amazing stuff that's going on with the Lightning Now tour and what other admins are doing with Lightning with the hashtag LightningNow. So you might have questions. We have a webinar group for that. If you're logged into the Success community, search on Salesforce Admins Webinars, or just go to bit.ly/admin webinar group. Now you don't have to wait to ask your questions. We have team members standing by. So as soon as I'm done talking, I'll jump in and start answering some questions. And of course, we'll do some live Q&A at the end with Michael, so we can ask questions there. And we take those questions from the Salesforce Admins Webinar Success Group. So with that, I'm going to turn it over with today's agenda to the other Michael Orr.
Thanks, Mike. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I'm going to walk through a step-by-step plan to help you get ready for your transition to Lightning. And along the way, because I can't help myself, I'm going to sneak in a few Winter 18 tidbits and even a demo. So look forward to that. Let's start with Discover. Discover obviously is the first stage in any journey, and here for our Trailblazers, it's no different. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we have available for you as admins to learn about Lightning and to get ready for your journey. The first thing is our landing page on the admin website, admin.salesforce.com/lightning. This gives you a quick one-stop shop, access to all of the tools that we created and blog posts and other good stuff that you'll want to be able to access very easily to get ready for your journey. The second thing here, obviously, is Trailhead. I'm sure all of you are Trailblazers and have earned all of your swag and hoodies and everything else on Trailhead, but we keep releasing great new stuff on Trailhead. And in fact, we just released a super badge yesterday, didn't we, Mike? We have a great new super badge that is now available on Trailhead. So even if you are a Trailblazer and you've done everything that was out there a couple of weeks ago, you want to go back and check because we keep releasing new stuff. So we want to make sure that you have access to all of the trails, all of the modules that you could possibly ever need, and we keep doing new stuff. So whoever gets that first super badge, you'll get a personal @mention from me on Twitter. So get out there and get it done. We also have a very active group in the Success community called the Lightning Now group. So if you go to success.salesforce.com, many of you are probably already members. If you're not a member, get yourself over there and join. We've got over 3,000 members today, and we've got a very active discussion there happening in the Lightning Now group. So this will get you started. Then the next step is really to take a look at what Lightning means for your specific org. And what we've done here at Salesforce is we've invested in some tools that will help you evaluate your particular situation, help you understand what Lightning means for you and what it can do for you. So the first thing that I want to highlight here is the migration assistant. We've built the migration assistant right into the application. You can go into setup and click get started out of the classic setup experience, and you have a set of tools there and access to resources right there within Salesforce. I'm going to show this to you here in a minute. This is how you get to the readiness check. It's how you get to a bunch of other tools that we've made available for you. So this is the beginning of your evaluation of your org. Now, in the Migration Assistant, we've got a tool called Preview Mode. This will allow you to open up your org in Lightning without having to do anything. You just go in there and you click Preview Mode, launch Preview Mode, and you can see what your org is going to look like out of the box before you do any configuration changes. So this will give you a preview without having to do any work at all. You just go in there and check it out. It is a live preview, so if you make changes, those are reflected in your data. It's not a mock environment, so it is real. So keep that in mind. Now we've made available some information in help and training. So we've got a gap analysis in help and training, which gives you a quick checklist of things that we have brought to Lightning, things that exist in Lightning that don't exist in Classic, and some things that are still on the roadmap. We also make available the Lightning Roadmap, which we're coming up on an update for that too. So the Lightning Roadmap, if you go to Help and Training and just search for Lightning Roadmap, you'll find a roadmap of features that we will deliver here in the next release or two, so you can be aware of things that are coming on the roadmap. Now, the readiness check automates a lot of the work of evaluating your org. So the readiness check is a push of a button. It will produce a report that gives you a review of, or an outline of things that you maybe need to pay attention to in your migration, some things that may require some work, and also some things that are ready to go. So when you run that now, in the latest version of the readiness check, we also support the Service Cloud. So you can choose to run the readiness check for Sales Cloud features or Service Cloud features, or both, and it will tell you where you are, where your org is, and in relation to our roadmap and some other things that we outline there in the readiness check for you. So you want to run the readiness check, and when you do that, you'll have access to a link that allows you to sign up for a consultation, a live consultation with a Lightning expert online. I do them, so you might get me or you might get one of our other experts here from Salesforce, but you have access to sign up for those webinars from the Lightning Readiness Check. And now I actually want to show you what it looks like. So we'll go into, this is a bit of a nostalgic moment for me because I don't often come to this page. This is the classic setup page, which most of you know and love. Now in the setup page, you'll see up here in the right-hand corner, we have the Lightning Experience Migration Assistant. So all you have to do is come in and click on this button, and you get a set of tools that will help you with your journey to Lightning. So the first thing, obviously, that we've already talked about is learning about Lightning Experience. You've got access to a number of resources right here, straight out of the Migration Assistant. The next tab over is the Readiness Check tab. So right there on the Readiness Check tab, you'll click that button to launch the Readiness Check. So I'll go ahead and demo what that looks like. That opens up a modal, which gives you, oops, I've got an IP address restriction here. I haven't VPN'd in. But if you are VPN'd in, then you'll be able to push that button and run the Readiness Check and get your report in your email. Now, I've already pulled up a readiness check here so that you can see what that looks like. When you get the readiness check and you open it up, this is what you'll see. So you'll see a report that shows you that, first of all, outlines what the readiness check does. And then at the very top of the readiness check, we go through an analysis of potential return on investment. Our customers have told us that they've seen improved productivity with Lightning, and so we do an evaluation of your org, and we tell you right here in the readiness check what we think you may be able to benefit from in terms of readiness. And then we have an estimate of the rollout effort. So we list the things that we've identified in the readiness check, things that you may need to address or pay attention to in your rollout. And we try to calculate what we think the rough level of effort is on those things. So here's a couple of examples of things in this particular org that will require effort on my part to migrate to Lightning. And then finally, there's a list of things that give you an outline of how to use the report, a step-by-step process right there in the readiness check on how to move forward with Lightning. So after you finish this webinar and you run your readiness check, you'll have this in your hands and you'll be able to move forward with some step-by-step advice. Now, the rest of the readiness check contains a lot of detail. I'm not going to go through all of that detail, but one of the things that we've built into the readiness check is we've analyzed not just the features that you have in your org, but we've also identified the relative usage of those features. So features that are being used frequently, we highlight that so you can pay attention to those features. Things that are not being used, many of you may have things in your org that you've installed or that you don't use anymore that are not relevant. We've indicated where those things are not used or not present in a profile. So that's a quick look at the readiness check. Let's go back to slides for a minute. Once you're ready to get started, we also want to emphasize the value of making sure that everybody's on the same page and that everybody's on the bus. So one of the tools that we've made available for you here is the Lightning in a Box kit. You can take this right here from this URL that I have on this screen and download it, and you can use this to help your organization understand what Lightning is, how it can benefit your organization. You get all your stakeholders on the same page and ready for the transition to Lightning. Once you've done all that, the next step is really to get started with your rollout. So there's a couple of stages to this. The first thing that you'll probably want to do is actually enable yourself with Lightning. And there are ways to do that without invoking the larger rollout. We'll talk about that in a minute. The second stage really is to run a pilot, and we strongly recommend running a pilot. This is not unique to Lightning. This is just a general best practice when you're rolling out technology to large organizations or small organizations. Running a pilot gives you insight into how the functionality is going to be used, things that you may want to address, things that you may want to modify before you roll out your changes to a larger group. And then finally, you want to roll that out to departments or groups beyond your pilot. So let's talk about each of those in turn. Turning on Lightning is really very simple. Back in the Migration Assistant, the final tab there that you see, it just has a single switch, and that's to turn on Lightning Experience. So when you're ready to go, it really involves just flipping a switch and then assigning that permission out to the right individuals. Now, when you turn on Lightning, when you flip that switch, it's important to understand who gets access to Lightning. If you have users in standard profiles and you enable Lightning, they will automatically get the switch to Lightning experience under their avatar. So there's no way that you can turn Lightning off for standard profiles if you have it on for the org. So take a look at your users. You may have some users in standard profiles. If you do have users in standard profiles and you don't want them to have access to Lightning, you may have to move them to a custom profile. Custom profiles have the Lightning Experience user permission, and that is editable. So when you start to roll out Lightning, you probably won't start here. You'll probably have this permission off until you're ready to deploy to larger groups in our third stage. But initially, when you go into your custom profiles, you'll see this permission is off by default. And then the third way to deploy Lightning is through a permission set. So we'll talk about that next, but a permission set allows you to do a fine-grained assignment of the Lightning permission. When you create a permission set, you can check that Lightning Experience user permission set, and then you can use that to assign Lightning out. So keeping those in mind, go into the Lightning Experience Migration Assistant, flip the switch and turn it on, and you can start to work in Lightning yourself along with all of your system administrators. Next stage is to run a pilot. So a pilot really is a learning opportunity for you as an admin. You'll want to pick your best users. You guys know who they are. They're the people that sometimes they're a pain in the neck, but they give you the best feedback. They don't hold back, and they'll tell you what they think. So you want to get those people on your side first, and you want to use them to help you make your rollout better. So pick your Salesforce champions, enable them with a permission set. And you can give them the permission to switch to Lightning. They will still have the ability to switch back to Classic. But what you want to ask them to do is have them do their job in Lightning. Have them go through their daily work, have them go through their flows, test it out, and find out what works, what can be approved, what could be configured to be more usable. Get that feedback. We recommend that you do that in a chatter group. That's a great way to get feedback. And then you can tune your Lightning experience configuration. You have a lot of options in Lightning, a lot of flexibility that you didn't have in Classic. We'll show you a few of those things here just in a minute. But you want to tune your Lightning experience configuration before you roll it out to a broader set of users. And then finally, when you're ready to go, you want to plan your rollout carefully. You want to make sure that you communicate the change and build excitement. We've got a lot of tools on the admin website to help you do that, including Lightning in a Box. So you want to communicate that out to your users. You want to do some training. So depends on your org. There are different ways to do this. You want to think about how it works best for your organization. Some organizations, people like to get on a webinar like this and they like to see it live. Other organizations, they just want to have a cheat sheet and they want to be able to look at it online. You can have your users do trails. We've got a lot of trails that are targeted to the end user, and if those will work for your users, you can ask your end users to do trails if that is suitable to the learning style of your organization. And then when you're ready to go, you'll probably want to enable your larger rollout through the use of profiles. This allows you to target your rollout to specific groups or departments of users. And when you do that, you also have, and I just want to highlight here, we now have the option to hide the ability to switch back to Salesforce Classic. So if you want to keep your users in Lightning, you want to maintain one set of training materials, one set of instructions, you can now take away the option to switch back to Salesforce Classic if you want to keep your users in Lightning full time. And then keep gathering feedback. So take that chatter group, expand it, get feedback, and iterate on your implementation. Let's take a look at another demo. So I'm going to go into, this time I'm going to go into a winter 18 org. And of course, I can't help myself. I'm going to point out a couple of great features that are coming your way in the winter 18 release. The first thing you'll notice if you haven't seen a winter 18 org is that we've done some work on the styling of the application. This is probably the biggest styling change that we've implemented since we started working on Lightning. We made the page richer. We've given it some color. There's some background color. The components float above a background color in an image. And so the snow blindness effect, the overwhelming whiteness of Lightning is now a thing of the past with the winter release, and we've given it a little depth. We've also increased information density in some areas of the application. So you notice that list views are tighter, and you'll be able to see more data in a list view. And we've done some other styling changes that we think will make it a lot easier to use the application, a lot easier to see the data that you're looking for in Lightning. There's a couple other things here. I'm on a home screen. This home screen probably doesn't look like any home screen you've seen before because I've got a couple of new components here on this home screen. The first component right up here at the top is my dashboard component. So now I can take any dashboard that I've defined in the system, I can set the height of that component, and I can display that on a custom home page or a custom Lightning app page. So you can now bring dashboards into any part of the application that you want to. The second component that's now coming out in the winter release is the list component. So now you can take a list and you can put it on the home page, or you can put it on the custom Lightning page. You can pick the list and you can allow your users to interact with that list view and see information right there on their home screen if you want to present a list of records right there to the user. I've got some new options in the task component. So now I can choose from a set of different views that allow me to see different sets of tasks based on what I want to be able to do in the application. But let's go in and let's take a look at the account page. So I'm going to go to an account record here. I'll go to my Universal Services account, which is one of my great accounts. Now, this account, you'll notice that right now I've got the details component configured to be the first thing that loads. So I'm looking at the details. Now in Classic, I had to scroll down to see the related lists. In this particular view, I've got related lists on a sub-tab, but it's not immediately visible to me. I have to click on that to see my related lists. So wouldn't it be great if I could get a preview of those related lists without having to switch over to that related list? Well, you know what? In the winter release, you can now do that. I'm going to just go into the app builder. I'm sure many of you have already played around with the app builder. The app builder is our what you see is what you get designer that allows you to really modify that page, change the configuration and layout of the components on that page. So here I'm going to come in and I'm just going to grab this new component called Related List Quick Links. I'm going to drag that onto my right-hand column and put that right at the top of the screen. And the Related List Quick Links component, with that we bring a feature from Classic into Lightning that a lot of people really liked. It allowed us to, in Classic, you only had it at the top of the screen. So you'd have to go up to the top of the screen and you'd click on, you'd hover over a link and you could see a preview of a particular related list. Well, we brought that to Lightning in the winter release, but now with the Related List Quick Links component, you as an admin have the flexibility to put that wherever you want. You can drag it around the screen. In fact, let's just try that out here for a minute. I can put it up here at the top. I could put it way up at the top where it used to be. So if you really like it way up at the top, you can do that. But that's not always the best place for it. The place that I really wanted is down here on the right-hand column. So let's keep it there for now. And when I save this page, we'll go back in and I'll show you how that's going to work. But while we're doing that, I also want to do something else. I want to show you another great feature that's coming out in the winter release. I'm going to do a fairly simple demo of this. I'm just going to put a rich text component in here because what I want to do here is I want to make sure that my reps know that that they're looking at an enterprise account when they see this. So I'm going to type in I'm just going to type in enterprise account here in my rich text component. I'm going to make that actually really big, and I'm going to make it red so that there'll be no doubt when I'm dealing with an enterprise account. But I don't want that to show up when I'm looking at a mid-market account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to set my component visibility. What this allows me to do is to pick any field on the record. And in this case, I'm going to use my account type field, and I'm going to say when the account type is equal to enterprise, then show this component. And if that doesn't evaluate to true, then the component is actually not going to show up. So let's go ahead and save that, and we'll go back to our screen. And now I'm back here in my account view. And you'll see that I have my quick links component over here on the right. So let's just take a quick look and see what that looks like. Now, related contacts, if I hover over that, now I get the full related list. So those of you that have missed columns in the related list component, the preview component actually gives you the full featured capability of the list view. So you can see the full width of the component. You can get up to 10 columns on that view, and you get all the actions related to that. So I can just come in here and I can get a preview of different related lists right there without actually having to open up the related list quick tab. So that's great. But I don't see my enterprise account indicator because this is not an enterprise account. Well, let's just come into the account really quickly and let's change it to an enterprise account just to show you the power of this new feature. And when I do that, the component, the rich text component that I defined shows up dynamically. So that is evaluated on the client side. As soon as I make changes to the data of that record, that rule now evaluates to true, and I have my enterprise account indicator right here on the screen. That's all declarative. I didn't have to write any code to do that. So those are a couple of the things that you can do, and now you appreciate the flexibility that we've given you with Lightning and some of the power that we've given to the admin with Lightning to make declarative changes and completely reorganize the screen without having to call your developer, without having to write any code. A couple of other things I want to highlight for you. We now have the attachments to files migrator available on the App Exchange. So if you go to the App Exchange and you search for attachments to files, you'll find this migration tool, which will allow you to migrate your attachments into Salesforce files. Now, why would you want to do that? Salesforce Files is the single unified content management solution that we're building in Lightning, and it's got most of the features that were in some of the other content management solutions, and it's got a lot of net new features. It's got some great things like a great new previewer and a number of platform capabilities. You can build platform rules around files. So in Lightning, you're going to want your content to be in Salesforce Files, but a lot of you have content in attachments. And so we recognize that, and we created a tool that will automatically migrate your attachments to Salesforce Files. You can choose the object that you want to migrate. You can even set the batch size. You can convert them over time. You can convert them all at once. And then when you're happy with the results, you can go back and you can delete the original source file attachment, and you'll have the file in Lightning, and it will be linked to the record that it was originally linked to. So this is a great new tool. It automates one of the things that you have to do in your transition to Lightning. Another Winter 18 feature that I really want to make sure that everybody's aware of is the automatic styling for Visualforce pages. So we built a feature that allows you to set a tag. All you have to do is go into the Visualforce page that you want to style and set this attribute in the Apex page tag right at the top of the page. And when you do this and you open a Visualforce page in Lightning, it will be the standard tags in that page will be automatically styled with the Lightning design system. So you can see an example on this screen. On the left, I've got a classic Visualforce page. On the right, I have that same Visualforce page with just this tag set, and it is automatically styled with the Lightning design system. All right, step 3, once you have your rollout complete and you've got your users using Lightning, you'll want to iterate on your implementation. No implementation is static, and you want to continue to encourage usage to make your implementation better. So we've got some tools for that too. We've got a package that you can install in your org that gives you a view of who is actually using Lightning and whether people are adopting it and at what level. So you can take a look, you can track that over time, and you can really understand what's going on in your org from a Lightning adoption standpoint. We also now have the Salesforce Optimizer. So the Salesforce Optimizer is available in setup. You can run it. It launches similar to the readiness check. And the Optimizer will give you a view of how you're using your org, some areas that you may be able to improve, and some features that you may be able to take advantage of. So we encourage you to go in and run the Salesforce Optimizer. It'll give you some great insights into your current usage of the product. And then finally, I want to make sure that you all know about the great stuff that's on the App Exchange today. We've got a new section of the App Exchange called Components. So if you can actually launch the App Exchange straight out of the App Builder, and when you do that, you're automatically in the Components section. Our partners have built over 100 standalone components that you can pull down and install into your org. You can integrate them right into the standard experience alongside our standard components or your custom components. And they really extend the power of Lightning with some great functionalities built by our partners. Also, in the app section of the App Exchange, we have over 1,000 Lightning ready apps available for you today. So definitely go and check out the App Exchange. And with that, I think I'm going to hand it over to Mike to finish this up.
Great, thanks, Michael. So this is an amazing month of September for everyone. We are getting started with this webinar to help you jump into Lightning. Next week, we have some blog posts and, of course, the Salesforce Admins podcast to help you discover more and help you get skilled up on Lightning. The week of the 18th, we are going to give you strategies, best practices on rolling out Lightning. And the week of the 25th, we are helping you optimize and take advantage of Lightning. So if you're paying attention to admin.salesforce.com/Lightning month, you'll see all of this amazing content, including podcasts with real admins who have rolled out Lightning to give you best practices. And you can find out how long that Lightning readiness report can really be. I will leave that as a teaser. And just to wrap up, so Q&A, we are a little bit short on time. So if you are bit.ly/admin webinar group, it looks like there was quite a few really good questions that we will have Michael Orr jump in and answer. Of course, there's a survey, bit.ly/AW survey-customize. And our slides, because everything was recorded, and the slides will be available at bit.ly/AW-lightning rollout webinar. And with that, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of their day, and thank you, Michael Orr, for sharing some of your incredible lightning knowledge with us.
All right. Thanks, Mike.